The SEC Network tonight. Palmetto State bragging rights are on the line as the South Carolina Gamecocks play host to the Tigers of Clemson. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Weinstein alongside Brett Ball. And Brett, what better way to welcome back all these fans here for the South Carolina Gamecocks in their home opener than an in-state rivalry matchup with the Clemson Tigers?
Right, Dave. If I could sing, I would say this is the most wonderful time of the year. I mean, as you can hear behind me, I mean, they lead the nation for the last 7 seasons in attendance, and this is the time of the year that that makes basketball fun with the fan support behind. As the ceremony you just saw, that's Coach Staley gives fans the huge credit for getting the team there.
Well, Clemson is coming off a loss to Columbia. They'll look to get back on track tonight against the number 1 team in the country. It'll be a tall task, but they return an all-ACC guard in Jaleisha Washington. Right.
Coach Butler in her press conference talked about how she wanted to make this a competitive play, and she wants to, and we're going to need Washington to be able to do so. She's leading the team right now with 15 points per game, 30 points on the season, and she's just extremely athletic guard. You know, can get to the basket, can pull up, and she's just really going to be the energy for this team to be able to stay and be able to compete with the number 1 team in the nation.
Running the show once again this season for the Gamecocks is senior guard Destiny Henderson.
Destiny is leading the team in points with almost 15 points per game and also 5 assists. And she's really kind of like the head of the snake, leading the team thus far this season. She talked about in her press conference yesterday with the questions about her with the injury in her position, but she seemed to be very confident as a senior and experienced senior in her position to be able to continue to lead the team and get the ball to the bigs and where it needs to be in order for them to have a successful game.
Should be a great matchup here in the home opener for the South Carolina Gamecocks. CLA is loud tonight. Everyone's excited to be back. Just had a banner ceremony as they unveiled the Final Four banner from last season.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see, again, the success for last season, even though, with the COVID happening to interrupt the season. It's great to see, again, the success. And this is what the fans come for. You can see all the phones over in the air taking pictures of that moment, but 10,000 plus fans, this is what basketball season is all about.
South Carolina 2-0 to start the season. Clemson 1-1. And we are underway from Columbia. Destiny Henderson running the show for the Gamecocks. Let's swing it over to Beal. Saxton inside, she'll kick it back out. And a whistle and a foul. That'll be on number 5, Amari Robinson, the junior forward from Douglasville, Georgia. Here's your starting 5 for the Gamecocks. Who else should we keep an eye on, Brett?
Of course, you can't have this conversation without including Aaliyah Boston and her productivity, Defensive Player of the Year. We're excited to should see a lot of production from her in the paint where Coach wants her to be the most productive.
Robinson gets her own rebound, lays it up and in. Trying to get a look inside to Boston. There she is, the All-American.
Yeah, that's exactly what Coach wants, to get it back get the ball into the paint for paint production.
Boston, a junior forward from St. Thomas. As we take a look at the Clemson starting 5, who else should we keep an eye on, Brett?
Of course, Bradford. She has led the team, or has been productive for the team in the last 2 games. Extremely athletic guard. I think her and Washington out on the floor can definitely get Clemson going for the game.
2 buckets already for the Tigers. They lead 4-2 early on. Henderson drives, draws the whistle. Destiny Henderson, senior from Fort Myers, Florida. The foul is going to be on Amari Robinson, her second. And taking a look at Dawn Staley, the head coach of South Carolina, in her 14th season. Robinson out now for Clemson. A block from Sane. It's an early substitution for the Tigers. Hannah Hank is in, junior forward from Australia. Boston loses possession, but it'll stay with the Gamecocks. Shot clock at 16. And another foul, so the foul's starting to pile up early so far for Clemson.
And Dave, you can notice that the fouls are taking place, inside the paint near the basket. So you can see where Carolina, again, is trying to definitely, not settling for outside shots, but trying to get to the basket.
First on Hannah Hank. And Zaya Cook to the line. 78% free throw shooter to start this season. And this is the first. Dawn Staley, head coach for the Gamecocks. Of course, brought home that national championship in 2017. Bradford. Here's Washington, loses the ball, so here come the Gamecocks the other way. And a foul called on South Carolina. That's going to go against Saxton, her first. Watch number 5 here.
Yeah, you can see there Saxton's trying to create some space.
Bradford out of control on that possession. A turnover for the Tigers. They lead 4-3 early here in the first quarter. Destiny Henderson had 14 points in the opener at NC State, 15 points against South Dakota. His way to Beal. She'll drive inside. And again, a foul called on South Carolina, an offensive foul on the Gamecocks.
Again, you can see, Dave, just geographically where those fouls are happening, right around the paint. You can see a lot of them attacking the basket early on.
First foul on Bree Beal. Kiara Lewis, the transfer from Syracuse, out of Chicago, Illinois. 15 points a game so far for Clemson. The whistle, and that's going to go against Cook. Fouls now starting to pile up for both teams.
Yeah, the officials are not necessarily letting them play. They're making sure they're keeping their eyes on everything.
3 fouls on each team so far. Bradford, one-on-one against Cook. She'll kick it out. Hank for 3. In and out. And the rebound to Henderson. Destiny Henderson finds an open Beal, and she hits. A 3-point shot for Bree Beal. Her second 3 of the season. Gamecocks by 2. Daisha Bradford. And another whistle. And this one is going to go against Aaliyah Boston. Her first. Let's take a look at that last play, the 3 from Bree Beal.
I think that's a great shot for her. She's such a versatile player. Last year she played a lot in the post, and this year she's playing on the wing.
She's a 3-year starter for the Gamecocks. Hank passed up the open look. Washington will pull up. And this is everything. So here comes Cook the other way. And the Gamecocks will slow it down in the half court. It's a team that's got in the habit of getting up and down the floor. Boston doesn't get the roll, but a whistle and a foul called on Clemson. That's going to be on Hannah Hank, her second. So 2 each now for Robinson and Hank. And Hank will check out. First appearance for Michaela Elmore, the freshman forward from Fostoria, Ohio. There's an open look. And an air ball. Here come the Tigers. Washington for 3. A lot of shots so far, Brett, that aren't close.
Yeah, Clemson is trying to do their best to get some points on the board.
Boston was calling it for an inside. Now she'll get it. And finishes. Aaliyah Boston came into tonight's matchup averaging just 8.5 a game. Preseason All-American, was a first-team All-American last year. Lisa Leslie Center of the Year 2 years in a row. Elmore trying to get the ball to Bradford. This is Bradford in the corner. Another air ball for the Tigers. Beal trying to post up Washington. Beal's 3 inches on Washington. Here's Cook on the drive. Off the glass, no good. And a shot clock violation. And that brings us to our first media timeout. South Carolina leads Clemson 8-4 from Columbia. You're watching. And welcome back to Colonial Life Arena. 4:49 to go in the first quarter. The Gamecocks lead the Tigers 8-4. Let's take a look at the series history between these two teams. It's tight. Clemson leads the all-time series 33-32. However, Brett, it's been dominated lately by the Gamecocks.
Right, and you can see the Gamecocks actually have not trailed in the last 2 games, and it looks like the streak thus far, will continue. But again, this rivalry is something that teams look for, look to every single year.
The most recent meeting between the two teams was November 24th in 2019, an 84-48 win for South Carolina, and that was at Little John Coliseum. The last one here in Colonial Life Arena was November 15th, 2018. That was a 69-57 victory for the Gamecocks. Neither team, Brett, has shot well so far. South Carolina shooting 33%, Clemson shooting just 29%. We've seen a number of air balls from both teams.
Right, yeah, and this is quite unusual, but maybe it could be just the nerves of the crowd. Again, this is really the first year we're getting the crowd back from COVID, so there's a lot of different factors. But it's still early in the game. You can just see where the teams, again, are at least taking those open shots. And you can see where the common fouls are happening, again, around the basket. But Clemson are getting some open looks, and it's just a matter of making those shots.
It's a great fan base that's been built under the leadership of Dawn Staley, leading the nation in attendance each of the last 7 seasons, including the limited attendance COVID season a year ago. Mm-hmm. And the Gamecocks expect to do it again because they've sold over 10,100 season tickets so far this season.
Right, correct. And they continue to lead for the past almost 50 games, have had consecutive 10,000 fans per game. So, again, this has become the new standard, the new norm for Gamecock Nation.
They are the number 1 team in the nation. They deserve that support. Here's the home run pass to Washington. And she finishes.
And that's what she does best. That's something that Coach Butler talked about. Washington's strengths is just get it out in a transition, and I think that's going to really work for Clemson in this game.
That breaks a 6-0 run for the Gamecocks. A whistle here. And a confused look on Amanda Butler's face. Will be called on Ano Inyang. That's her first, the freshman center from St. Cloud, Florida.
You can see a lot of Clemson's players are getting freshmen are getting some early minutes here due to foul trouble.
Cardozo hits the first. Came into tonight 1 for 3 on the season in free throw opportunities. The transfer from Syracuse. And she's got 2. Syracuse transfers on both of these teams, Brett. Cardozo for South Carolina and Kiara Lewis, talented guard for Clemson.
Yeah, and both are getting to see some minutes early tonight.
This is Lewis with the ball. Inside, a tough basket. It's good from Gabby Elliott. Sophomore guard from Detroit, Michigan. Didn't play in the first game against Upstate, 17 minutes against Columbia. Henderson trying to find Cardozo inside. No good. Ball still loose. And Ami here was able to come up with it. Henderson going behind the back. 10 seconds on the shot clock for Zaya Cook. Henderson, she'll drive. An open look for Beal. Short, and another offensive rebound from Ami here. And there's a turnover. Kiara Lewis the other way. Kiara Lewis, 20 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals in the loss to Columbia. And that whistle will go against Cook, her second. So she's going to check out, and Destiny Littleton will make an appearance for the Gamecocks, the senior guard from San Diego, California. Lewis to the line, 73% free throw shooter so far this season. Connects on the first. I mentioned transfer from Syracuse, 14 points per game last year for the Orange, was honorable mention All-ACC. This is a player, though, who was a first-team All-ACC player as a junior, 17.6 per game. Led Cuse that year in points, assists, steals, was twice the National Player of the Week, so a great get for the Clemson Tigers. She'll check out. All tied at 10. Littleton trying to find some help. Finds it in Henderson. She'll drive, split 2 Tigers. Doesn't get the friendly roll. And so the ball in the hands of Daisha Bradford. Sane unable to hold on to that. Henderson the other way. And the finish, and one for Letitia Ami here. Let's take another look. A terrific feed from Destiny Henderson.
And again, you couldn't draw up a play any better than that. And that's what Destiny Henderson, that's why she leads the team in assists. Being able to get the ball out in transition and seeing the open man. It was almost like a no-look pass, but she was able to finish the basket.
Foul on Daisha Bradford, her first. Gamecocks lead by 2, 2:25 remaining in the first quarter. Washington stops, pops. Can't hit. And an offensive foul called on South Carolina, number 3, Destiny Henderson, her first.
It looks like that they called her for the wraparound.
Let's take another look at this. Coach Staley wasn't happy. Not a lot there.
Yeah.
So 5 fouls now on both teams. Lewis. Looking inside to Cardozo. It's kicked back out. Cardozo once again trying to use her height. Lewis, an open 3. That's off the mark.
Clemson are getting some looks. The shots are just not falling for them right now.
Beal had a 3 early in this one. Henderson. Ami here is really asserting herself inside for the Gamecocks. She draws the foul. It's going to be the 3rd on Hannah Hank.
Ami here, they call her LA, has been extremely active in this game thus far, getting out in transition, as well as posting up in the paint, and you can see it as many times she's been able to get to the free throw line.
Both teams are in the bonus. Ami here from Mississauga, Ontario. She's on the Canadian national team. This is the first. Brett, she's actually the first Canadian woman to dunk. Did so at the age of 15.
Oh, wow.
She was excellent in the NCAA tourney last year for the Gamecocks. And this is the second. Fancy dribbling from Bradford. JUCO transfer from Jones College. This is Lewis. Sane looking for it inside. Gamecocks converge on her. There's Sane with an open look.
And that's a great play right there. Sane kicking it back out to reset. And they found her again open and for her to finish.
She's a grad transfer that brings some size. 6'4". For Destiny Henderson.
It's a great shot again for Henderson, and that's again while she's leading the team in almost 15 points per game.
Henderson coming into tonight 4 for 6 on 3-pointers. Lewis, fancy move to get around Cardozo, can't finish. Now steals it from Cardozo, 2 former teammates. And this one will end up out of play. That'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. It's been a tight one so far. South Carolina leading Clemson 15-14. Courtesy of a 3-pointer from Destiny Henderson. Second quarter coming up next from Columbia.
Introducing the Grubhub Guarantee. Our promise to deliver the food you love on time and give you the lowest price. Or you'll get $5 off your next order. Getting your favorite restaurants delivered to your door just got better. Introducing the Grubhub Guarantee. It's our promise to deliver the food you love on time and give you the lowest price. Or you'll get $5 off your next order. Experience your food just like the restaurant intended. That's the Grubhub Guarantee.
And welcome back to Colonial Life Arena. Dave Weinstein, Brett Ball with you for the start of the second quarter. It's been a tight one, 15-14. South Carolina leads. There has been a problem, though, Brett, for the Gamecocks, and that's turnovers.
Absolutely. You know, we talked about that for their South Carolina game against NC State, how they have to take care of the basketball. And even Coach Daly mentioned that in her press conference to talk about, hey, if you don't have the ball, you turn it over. That means you have to play more defense. So protecting the ball, Clemson have taken advantage of that, converted those into 6+ points, and so that's what they have to do, continue to protect the ball on the offensive side.
The lead, could be bigger for the Gamecocks. However, they've struggled from the free throw line, just 3 of 7.
Yeah, you got to definitely knock down those free throws. They're having points, they're having production in the paint, getting the ball inside, getting post touches, getting to the free throw line. However, you got to make sure that that works into your favor by knocking down those free throws.
I've been impressed so far with Clemson's ability to hang with the number 1 team in the country.
Right. Coach Butler said she wanted to make it a competitive game, and they're definitely doing that.
Far cry from their last matchup when South Carolina opened with a 20-9 advantage in the first quarter and never looked back. Sane couldn't hit for the Tigers, so here's Henderson the other way. Henderson, we expect to play a lot of minutes now at the point guard position, with Raven Johnson out for the year with an injury. Raven was going to be the backup point guard, would be able to spell Henderson. Instead, it's going to be backup point guard by committee for the Gamecocks, but we expect to see heavy minutes this season for Henderson.
Yeah, and she seemed to embrace the role really well for a season point guard. As a senior, she said, "Hey, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is how I'm supposed to lead." And it's going to be interesting to see how the Carolina Gamecocks rotate who they rotate into that position.
Second foul on Inyang, so she'll check out. And some foul trouble early on for Clemson. Hannah Hank with 3, Amari Robinson with 2, and Aino Inyang with 2. We're talking about a lot of size that is now sitting on the bench. There's an open look for Henderson off the back iron. And travel called on Lewis.
And these are errors for Clemson. They are just going after the ball. Some errors that can be prevented, but it's just showing their aggressive play.
Trying to get the ball into Boston. Instead, another turnover for the Gamecocks. And that foul will go against Aaliyah Boston. That's her second. What a player Boston has been for South Carolina. First player in program history to earn Freshman of the Year. National Freshman of the Year in the 2019-2020 season. First team All-American last year. Preseason All-American this season. But she's out with some foul trouble. This is Russell. Offensive foul.
That is the second time that call has been made against the Gamecocks, driving into the paint, attacking the basket.
Nia Russell. She runs over Elmore. Elmore will kick it out to Bradford for 3. She's short. Fight for the rebound and ends up in the hands of Destiny Henderson. Russell will kick it out. An open look for Amir. And an offensive rebound for Bree Hall. Bree Hall, the freshman guard from Dayton, Ohio.
Great hustle play, what they call a breezy. Great hustle play by her.
South Carolina out-rebounding Clemson on the offensive glass, 6-1. Amir had to throw that up.
Yeah, and again, that's just being aware of the shot clock, making sure you're communicating with your teammates to get a shot off, a good shot off before the shot clock goes out.
So it doesn't count as a turnover, but not a great possession for the Gamecocks. Russell will check back out. Score still 15 of 14. Clemson shooting just 35%. South Carolina shooting just 28%. Tigers yet to hit a 3 in this one. Lewis on the drive, trying to draw contact, and she's able to do so. It's going to be called on Bree Hall, her first. So it's number 23, fouls number 23. Lewis to the line. Can't hit the first. Kiara Lewis coming off a double-double against Columbia. Played like a big-time point guard for Clemson, which is what she is, and that's what they expect out of her. She's a catalyst, a playmaker, continuing to grow into that role of understanding how to run the floor, what the moment needs. Has a lot of experience coming over from Syracuse, but is going to be asked to play a little differently than she did with the Orange. An open look for Hall. That's no good. And And a jump ball called. Possession will stay with South Carolina.
South Carolina is leading the boards with 17 rebounds, 17 over 8 rebounds for Clemson.
Several of Clemson's bigs are already in foul trouble. Beal cuts inside, kicks it out to Henderson. An open look for three. Got it.
Again, another open look. A great shot for Destiny Henderson. Again, that's what she does, leads the team in being able to knock down open shots like that when Carolina needs it the most.
6 points now for Henderson. Gamecocks lead by 4. Inside to Sane. Battling for the rebound, and Sane will be called for her first foul.
Sane has been actually really, really active for Clemson on the offense and defense. They've been getting really good looks, but just haven't really been able to have much luck in finishing.
Well, she's had to be active because Robinson with 2 fouls, In-Yang with 2 fouls, and Hank with 3 fouls. It's a lot of inside presence and foul trouble. Trying to get it inside to Saxton. They stay with the Gamecocks. Amir tried to go under Sane, but she'll draw the foul. So now 2 on Sane. And to say there's foul trouble on Clemson's bigs is an understatement.
Right. They're really having to go into the depth of their bench, and it'll be exciting to see who has the most productivity and who's able to step up and play that role in the paint and have that paint presence.
Amir 0 for 3 from the line tonight. That's the first. She had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals at NC State, 4 points, 3 rebounds against South Dakota. Now checking back in for Clemson will be Ano In-Yang, and she has 2 fouls, so she has to be careful. Freshman center from St. Cloud, Florida, 6'3". Clemson hasn't scored yet in this second quarter. The lead for the Gamecocks is 6. Lewis will set up her play. Runs into some traffic, and her shot is blocked by Amir. And that's what she brings, 9th in the SEC in blocks a year ago. Let's take another look at this block from Amir.
Again, that came right into her territory. Again, the defense and being aware, and just her, again, athletic ability to be able to prevent those shots.
She goes 6'4". Lewis goes 5'8". Follow away from Elliott off the mark. An offensive rebound for In-Yang. And Clemson will reset. Lewis being guarded by the much taller Amir. An open look for Robinson. In and out. Another offensive rebound for the Tigers. This time it's Washington.
It's good to see Washington back on the floor getting some more minutes, and that's what she does. She's an aggressive player, and she follows up for shots like that.
Washington, a good feed inside to In-Yang, but the shot clock runs out.
She had a great idea there, but just wasn't able to complete the play.
Almost a turnover. Instead, it's Amir on the drive. Contact. And a blocking foul will be called on Clemson. That'll take us to our media timeout. Gamecocks Well, Brett, your player to watch for the Gamecocks was Destiny Henderson, and she's rewarded you for that, and she's rewarded the Gamecock fans.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, she does what she has been doing, again, for the last 4 seasons here, just being productive and doing what she is asked to do as leading her team. Just 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Again, she has a great shot and has been, again, distributing the basketball as she always does and making sure she gets to the right man. But that's what senior point guards should do and be able to carry their teams with points and be able to lead them. But she's been having a productive game thus far.
Those 3 rebounds as well and 2 assists.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then still, again, active on the boards. Again, active in points, assists, field goals, and as well as rebound again.
She's a player that fills the stat sheet coming into tonight. 14.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game. That's through the first 2. Preseason All-SEC second-team player. USA Today preseason All-American second-team member. Ami here to the line. And it's the first. It's both. You have to be impressed with the junior forward, Ami here, and what she's provided off the bench.
Oh, yeah, for sure. She's been extremely active, being able to get to the free throw line as much as she has. Hasn't been as productive from the free throw line, but she's getting there and showing that she's really active for this game.
Clemson is 0 for their last 9 from the field, and a turnover here.
Yeah, Clemson is they're getting some looks. They're able to get the ball inside. They're just, again, not having much luck in being able to finish, and some of the wounds are a little self-inflicted for just not being able to control the ball.
How impressive is Ami here at 6'4", handling the ball the way she does? As I say that, a turnover, but she's been really impressive off the bench for South Carolina, not just inside, but being able to bring up the ball like that.
Exactly. Even when Henderson is in the game, she's able to help be able to handle the ball, and then just, again, it adds to her versatility.
And she's guarding Clemson's point guard. Before it was Lewis. Washington. And another whistle. This one will go against Bree Beal, her second. It's been a foul fest here in the first half.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Again, and Washington is doing what she's done before, attacking the basket, and again, trying to get to the basket, getting open shots as well.
Tigers trying to get on the board here. Lead has ballooned to 8 for the Gamecocks. Elliott, a floater, that's short. Fight for the loose ball. We're going to have a tie-up on the floor, so possession will stay with Clemson. Destiny Henderson will check back in. She'll replace Bree Beal. Elliott, sophomore guard from Detroit, Michigan. She'll swing it to Robinson. Now Washington. Pulls up and draws the foul. And a shocked look from Bree Hall, her second.
Again, that's what Washington does. She will take you off the dribble. She'll either go to the basket or she will pull up. And again, that's her advantage for her athleticism. Hopefully, again, she gets these 2 free throws to really help boost Clemson's morale, to get them back into the scoring, back into the flow of scoring.
Lewis back in for the Tigers. Sane as well. Sane has 2 fouls. Washington off the back iron. Came into tonight 5 for 8 at the free throw line this season. Preseason All-ACC player. put up a career-high 33 last year against FSU. That was one of 23 double-digit scoring performances for Delisha Washington. Came over after playing her first 3 seasons at Florida. Was SEC co-freshman of the year back in 2016-17. So she's familiar with playing South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely familiar. This is not her first time seeing SEC play.
Look inside to Cardozo. Finishes off the glass.
That was a great feed on the inside. Again, getting the ball to the post players who have, again, closer proximity to the basket to be able to finish.
Fancy dribbling from Washington. She'll pull up. In and out. An offensive rebound for Robinson. Another opportunity for the Tigers. Lewis. Short. So Destiny Henderson pushes it the other way. 1-on-3, so she'll head to the corner. And they'll swing it to Hall. Cardozo on the much shorter Washington. And the steal from Sane. Foul on Saxton. Her second. Washington getting some instruction from Amanda Butler, the head coach of Clemson, in her 4th season. Brings over 20 years of coaching experience, including 15 at the D1 level. 12 postseason berths, 5 NCAA tournament appearances. Made the Sweet 16 of the WNIT last year. She had a 20-win season in her first season at Clemson when the Tigers made the NCAA tournament. That was the first time they had made it since 2002. Sane at the line. She drills the first. Sane, the grad transfer from Southeast Missouri State out of the Ohio Valley Conference. She was OVC Defensive Player of the Year last year. An all-OVC first-team member. The all-time blocks leader at Southeast Missouri State. I'm talking single season, in a game, and for career.
Wow. We haven't seen any blocks tonight, though, but she's been extremely productive on offense.
Anderson along 3. Back come the Tigers, trailing by 7. Robinson. That pass is deflected and a turnover for Clemson. Cardozo asking for the ball inside. Instead, it's Ami here.
That's that block that we were talking about from Sane.
Lewis stops, pops. Can't hit. Good look to Cardozo, and she'll draw the foul. That's going to be on Kiara Lewis. Her second. 4 Tigers with 2 fouls, and Hannah Hank has 3. Cardozo to the line. Mentioned Syracuse transfer. ACC Co-Defensive Player of the Year last year. ACC Freshman of the Year. All-ACC first team and defensive team. She really racked up the awards last season for the Orange. A terrific get for Dawn Staley and company. Averaged 13.6 points, 8 rebounds, 2.7 blocks for Syracuse last year. And was second in the ACC in field goal percentage. And of course, because she played in the ACC, she's familiar with Clemson.
Of course, yeah. Being familiar with the conference style of play, I think, has definitely served as an advantage. Again, we talked about Washington being familiar with SEC play.
Turnover here. 13 straight misses on the offensive end for Clemson.
Again, we talked about earlier with Clemson being able to get the looks. You're 6 for 25 from the field, or I think we're 6 for 26 now from the field. Okay, they're able to get the looks, but just not having a good night of being able to finish.
Anderson's pass is deflected. Another turnover for the Gamecocks. Trying to get it to Elliott, but quick hands from Ami here. That may have saved an easy two.
Right. There's been a lot of back and forth with transition. Both teams are trying to push it out in transition, and sometimes they're possession of success, and sometimes they're not.
Gamecocks certainly like to push the ball up down the floor and score quickly. For them, it's just finding the best shot on the floor. Everyone touching the ball is important. They have so many finishers. Crowd here at CLA wanted a call there. They won't get it. Instead, it's Washington. Off-balance shot. Offensive rebound from Sane. Way short on that one. The defense from Cardozo.
Again, that's a great look for Washington. Again, she usually makes those shots. It's just not falling tonight.
They haven't fell often for South Carolina either. 7 field goals, 12 turnovers tonight for the Gamecocks.
Again, the turnovers is something that Coach talked about in the last 2 games that, again, haven't necessarily worked with in Gamecock favor, even though they've been able to come out with the wins. But she also talked about if you're turning the ball over, then that means you're playing defense more. So being able to protect the ball is you keep the ball on offense.
That foul's on Elmore. Both teams in the bonus, just like we saw in the first quarter. Bree Hall misses the first. Hall, a freshman guard from Ohio, was Ohio Miss Basketball. The number 5 guard and number 14 player in the class of 2021. One of 2. Yet another number 1 recruiting class for Dawn Staley. Bradford against Henderson. Tigers almost threw that away. Trailing by 10, it's Washington. Converged upon by several Gamecocks. And it'll be South Carolina basketball. South Carolina calls timeout, leading by 10, so they'll try to set up a final play with 23.3 remaining here in the second quarter. And I suppose if you're Dawn Staley, your team is only shooting 32% from the field, yet you have a 10-point lead. You have to be somewhat pleased with that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's, again, the production in the paint and being able to get to the free throw line. And even though they're not been able to finish everything in the paint, but still just being able to get touches in the paint without them double or down. You can see a lot of help side from the offside defense coming in to help the post players when Boston is in the game and when Beal is also down, when Saxon is down in the paint. So yeah, you can't. They are having production in the paint, but again, just still having to make sure they finish those free throws.
We haven't seen much of Aaliyah Boston in the second quarter. She has those 2 fouls.
Right. I think Coach probably may be preserving her for the second half.
Saxton as well with 2 for South Carolina. And that time, the foul is going to be called on Ami here. So not what you want out of the timeout if you're Coach Staley. Instead, it's going to be a final possession for Clemson.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that play was what was drew up in the huddle. Looks like some miscommunication went on there.
So for the Tigers, a chance to pull within single digits here before the half. Oh for 7 from 3 tonight are the Tigers. Shooting just 21% overall from the field, 6 for 29. Elliott. Just too much height for the Gamecocks. And that'll do it for the second quarter. So we've reached halftime here in Columbia. South Carolina leads 27-17 against their in-state rivals, the Clemson Tigers. You've been watching SEC basketball. Dave Weinstein alongside Brett Ball And Brett, it was a disastrous second quarter for Clemson. 0 for 16 from the field, 4 turnovers. But they were not bad in the first quarter. They hung in there with the Gamecocks.
Yeah, they definitely hung in there. And again, like I said, Coach Butler talked about wanting to make it a competitive play. And again, you had their players coming out being very active, but they got into foul trouble. Delisha Washington, again, doing what she does best, getting out in transition and finishing those shots. But again, eventually it became they were not being able to finish the shots that they were getting, the open looks that they were getting.
South Carolina. Aaliyah Boston, just 6 minutes so far. She's been in foul trouble. Just 8 points in the paint for the Gamecocks. Here's 2 of them. They averaged 34 on the season.
Yeah. Again, her being out early just forced for Coach Shaley to go into the bench and have the bench be able to produce LA, what they call a mirror here. Been able to be very productive on the floor. Again, we're hoping to see Aaliyah Boston come out and be the productive All-American and Defensive Player of the Year that she is.
Yeah, Mihir and Cardozo really picked up the slack. 6 points, 5 rebounds for Mihir. Cardozo, 6 points, 3 blocks. Washington and Lewis, the 2 premier players for Clemson, just 2 for 14, 7 points combined.
And again, and you expect more productivity out of these players. Again, foul trouble with what got Clemson having to pull out, again, some of their freshman post players early on in the game. And hopefully, again, they're able to get just as good of looks, but just being able to finish in the second half is going to be key for them.
South Carolina, 13 bench points. They've used 11 players so far. Clemson has used 10. Both teams have had to go a little deeper tonight because of the foul trouble.
Right, yeah. Both teams have definitely having to look at the reserves, go into the depth of their bench has been exposed for sure this game. You haven't seen, again, as many points in the paint as you usually see from South Carolina and their post players being able to produce in the area. You're also seeing 13 turnovers from South Carolina, but yet they're still leading by 10 points. But again, this shows the talent of the team being able to make up for when you don't have Aaliyah Boston or Henderson in the game. And again, the same with Clemson, having Washington and Bradford not being able to produce as much as they have in games before. It's going to be exciting to see what they're going to bring to the game for the second half.
We're just about ready for action here inside Colonial Life Arena. South Carolina will start out with the ball. Henderson trying to get the ball to Boston. Instead, Cook does. She'll back down Sane with the right hand, able to finish.
There she is. That's what Boston does best. Again, if you get the ball inside, she's going to convert those to points.
Robinson, a 3. Off the mark. Sane and Boston were tied up, and the foul is going to go against Aaliyah Boston, who is shocked at the call, and this crowd is not happy inside Colonial Life Arena.
The crowd is not happy, nor is the bench happy at all. You can see there's a lot of action going on. It's really been going on all game. Arms are tied in.
That's the 3rd foul on Boston. She'll remain in there. And finally a bucket. It's Bradford, the junior guard from Mobile, Alabama, averaging 12.5 per game. Boston will give way to Cook. Boston for 3. Drains it.
Way to bounce back from a surprise call. Coach left her in the game, did not bring her out from the 3rd foul. So, again, this is she has to just play careful here, but still being productive on the offensive side.
Lewis unable to hit. Boston the rebound. Beal, the reverse.
Again, just a super athletic play. Just knowing where you are on the floor She was able to figure out again where she was on the floor in relation to the basket and be able to finish.
Lead is 15 for the Gamecocks. It's Alicia Washington. Answers on the other end.
Again, that's a great drive. She had drives earlier in the game, but just wasn't able to finish. But that's a good look for her and the aggressive play that Coach Butler talked about that she's going to need for her.
Cook with the left hand. Gets the friendly roll. Timeout Clemson. As South Carolina has opened strong here in the third quarter. They're 4 for 4 from the field. And that brings us to a timeout. The Gamecocks lead by 15, 7:53 remaining in the third. Aaliyah Boston looking for her first double-digit scoring performance this season. Only had 4 points in the first half due to foul trouble, but she's put up 5 already in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter.
Again, yeah, this is what you expect from an first-team All-American. Again, her productivity, a two-pointer in the paint, and then she comes up, followed up with a three-pointer. So she's so versatile, and it just, again, shows that the reason why she is, again, first-team All-American. And Coach even left her in the game after a third foul, and I think it's, again, just a lesson that you have to be able to play smarter even when you do have those fouls.
She's a player that averaged a double-double last year, 13.7 points, 11.5 rebounds, also 2.6 blocks per game. One of the team captains. Really, you can make the argument that she should have been a unanimous All-American. It's the rebound here. And again, battling, it's Boston this time with In-Yang, and the foul will be called on In-Yang. That's her third.
This game should be called Battle of the Post. There's been activity in all game, activity in the post and also on the help side. You can see the defensive, looking at the corner of their eye, making sure whenever the post player touches the ball that they're ready to come over on help side defense.
In-Yang checks out, and Hank is back in. Both have 3 fouls. Hank trying to front Boston. Here's Cook for 3.
That's a great shot for her. That's, again, her and Henderson have the three-point line secure. This is what they do for the team. And, again, it's a great shot. She's a shooting guard, and it's a great shot, great look for her.
Lewis thought she might have had an easy layup, but Boston got over. Largest lead of the game for the Gamecocks, 18. Lewis past Boston, picked up by Henderson. And the left-handed layup.
That's a great way for a great job for Lewis being patient as well.
Skip pass. An open look for Boston. Cook once again. Back-to-back threes for Zaya Cook.
And again, doesn't matter where she is on the three-point arc. She's willing to, and she has the ability to have successively, again, knocked down that shot. And that's that is what helps South Carolina.
Henderson now with at least 5 assists in all 3 games this season. An open look for Beal. The Gamecocks are on fire now.
I mean, whatever was said in the locker room, it definitely got them fired up. And the fans are having their three-point signs in the atmosphere. Is, again, having guards and Beal being able to knock down those shots is incredible.
Well, it's bombs away from the Gamecocks.
And great pass by Henderson, just being aware of what Cook is.
So a pair of threes from Cook. And a 22-point lead for South Carolina, 45-23. As we have timeout here inside Colonial Life Arena. Well, the team as talented as South Carolina, if you're Clemson, that's just how quick it can get away from you.
Exactly. That South Carolina said, hey, we can't get into the post. We'll shoot from the outside. We'll be able to knock down those shots. And again, that's where Coach Butler mentioned before. She wanted to compete. And again, Clemson still have an opportunity, and they still have had looks getting into the basket. But again, you have to be able to guard the 3 ball as well.
Well, she mentioned about South Carolina. They're outstanding in so many areas. Mm-hmm. Obviously, paint play second to none with Boston there, but you can't discount their transition offense, how fast Destiny Henderson gets the ball from one end of the floor to the other. Cook, her speed and scoring ability, we just saw it on a pair of threes. Mm-hmm. And so it's a really tough team to go against. An early season opportunity, really just to learn something about your team. It's challenging to play someone as talented as South Carolina in just the 3rd game of the season. Right. But for Clemson, this is the best way to figure out how close or far away they are from being a team that can compete in the ACC.
Right, and that's what something that Coach Butler talked about. That it is actually helpful for them to see this type of competition this early, to expose some of the things that they may need to work on and can go back. But again, this is the beauty of basketball, because again, you have these such talented teams that are playing and that are competing against each other. And with South Carolina, you want to double down in the post, but you also, when you double down in the post, you also means you're sagging off from your guards, and you have the guards like Cook and Bill and Henderson that can hit the 3. So if you're taking your eyes off of them, they can hit the 3. But if you focus on Boston, you lose sight of those other players. So.
Yeah, and that's just defending them, because then when you talk about the other side, it's so hard to score in them because of the size that the Gamecocks possess, their athleticism, their great shot blocking. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things to navigate there, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, for sure. And you can talk about Zia Cook. She's been a little quiet today, but she's still been productive with her points, 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. Again, she's just one of those solid players you can depend on for defensively, to be able to, again, stop the ball or be able to guard her assignment or her player. And again, to just being productive on both sides of the ball.
South Carolina now 7 for 13 from 3. There's Hank open in the corner. She's short. Hannah Hank, the junior forward from Australia, is a member of the under-17 Aussie team. Her brother Brent plays at Albany. Some pressure being applied now by Clemson. A 9-2 run for the Gamecocks. They'll feed Boston inside. Got 2 shots off. Instead, it's Delisha Washington the other way for the Tigers. And a good look to Sane from Bradford.
Right, nice, just classic pick and roll play for Clemson.
So the lead is 20. Twin Towers in right now for the Gamecocks in Boston and Cardozo. And whistle, that call will go against South Carolina. Lewis weaves her way through traffic. Threw up a wild shot, but draw the foul. The foul on the other end was on Cardozo. Check that on this end right here. So Kiara Lewis to the line. Spent her freshman year at Ohio State, averaged 6.7 points per game there, then transferred to Syracuse, now closing out her collegiate career at Clemson. So a well-traveled player and experience playing in the Big Ten and the ACC. One of 2.
Another hustle play by Washington, just being able to crash the boards.
Lewis working for her own shot. And a battle for a loose ball on the floor. Jump ball called. And it'll stay with Clemson. And checking in for the Tigers, Veronika Hip, sophomore guard from Poland. Played 12 minutes in the opener against Upstate, hit a 3. A couple of assists, played 4 minutes against Columbia. She'll inbound. Trying to throw it over Boston to find Washington.
Yeah.
Tough task.
Yeah, definitely tough task. She had a good idea, but just wasn't able to execute.
So a turnover for the Tigers. They trail by 19, 4:19 to go in the third. Boston's been able to stay at 3 fouls, remain in this one. And we'll have a whistle that will go against the Gamecocks. Now 16 turnovers for South Carolina. An opportunity for the Tigers to shrink this lead. Bradford able to get out of trouble. And now a whistle on Sane, an offensive foul for Clemson. Third foul on Sane. The grad transfer from Southeast Missouri State. And she'll exit.
Now, Sane has had some pretty productive minutes in the game. Again, even with the fouls, being able to again make up for the fouls that they had earlier. But again, on both sides, offensively and defensively, she's been pretty productive.
Inyang back in to play the 5 for the Tigers. Henderson trying to kick it out to Beal. Dangerous pass there. Henderson gets inside, tries to feed Cardozo. And she'll draw the foul. And it'll go against Inyang, who just entered, and now she picks up her 4th.
I think this is a great experience for her being a freshman, understanding, fouls and foul trouble, and being able to play through that. You can see her, Coach Butler is walking, talking to her, about those things. But, she's been time and experience, so much time to go to develop.
And she's an efficient player if they can keep her in there. 12
right.
points, 8 rebounds in just 16 minutes against Columbia. Was 8 of 12 from the line. And 4 points, 10 rebounds in just 14 minutes in her debut against Upstate. So she puts up numbers in limited minutes.
Right, and as well as 4 blocks as well. So
right. Just about staying out of foul trouble, which is tough when you're going against a team with so many forces inside like South Carolina.
Right, and again, the paint has been active early on. We saw so many fouls back-to-back from just away from the ball. Post players trying to get in position, trying to get open, a lot of pushing and shoving. So again, as a freshman, just learning how to use your body in a way that's beneficial to you.
It's a freshman class that Amanda Butler loves. She's spoken about their spirit, their energy, that they've added a lot to the team's personality. There's 5 of them. This foul is going to be called on Washington.
And again, this is another Washington. This is her style of play. Again, she may have to calm down just a little bit. She has good intentions, and she's so excited. Just have to take the ball, with her whenever she's moving.
Henderson gets around Hank, and Hank's going to be called for her 4th foul. So 4 on Inyang, 4 on Hank, and 3 on Sane. And that's the foul trouble for the Clemson Bigs. And there's still 2:51 to go here in the third quarter. Henderson hits the first. Gets them both.
Looked like Coach Butler is going with the smaller lineup. I'm sure not necessarily by choice, but because of foul trouble.
Well, Sane is in at 6'4". She'll no doubt be on Cardozo. That needs a smaller player to have to cover Ami here, who also goes 6'4". That foul will be called on Cook, her third. Getting the explanation from our official. The lead is 22 for the Gamecocks. And burying the three, it's Gabby Elliott. That's the first three of the night for Clemson. Cook gets the roll.
That's Cook, bread and butter. Her pull-up jump shot, again, is just who she is as a player, and her ability to do that, again, helps the Gamecocks a lot.
Well, getting hot now for the Tigers, it's Gabby Elliott.
Yeah, she's definitely feeling it. And it's great. Her first three was a great three to really get Clemson out of that scoring drought. And again, just making herself available in transition and not being able to be afraid of her arms, of the defensive player arms coming at her. Sometimes players are shy away from that, but for her to be able to go up and finish that shot, again, works in Clemson's favor.
They just really got her back. She had a hurt ankle. Did not play against Upstate, and then they got her back against Columbia, played only 17 minutes, and hurt her other ankle. They need her scoring ability. Was second on the team in scoring last year. Terrific move from Ami here, who's been so impressive tonight.
She has. She's been super active. I mean, from inside the paint, around the perimeter, again, moving with and without the ball, and being able to finish those shots. It's a great move for her.
Elliott wanted to put up another one, but the much taller Ami here closed. Instead, there's a miss from Elliott. Beal looking to push. Corner three for Littleton is off the mark. Offensive rebound for Cook. Looking to build on a 20-point lead are the Gamecocks. It's Cook, takes it herself, and she'll draw the foul.
Again, that makes just her the player who she is. She's so active, again, following up with rebounds, driving to the basket, being able to pull up. Again, it makes her extremely hard to guard.
So she'll head to the line. Cook, who averaged 13.8 per game as a freshman here, made the SEC All-Freshman team, and then 15.9 per game as a sophomore. Of course, that great 25-point performance against Stanford in the Final Four. She's a preseason All-SEC team member, first team. Was first team last year as well. 1 for 2. Sane now with 4 fouls for Clemson. She'll remain in. Lewis runs into a roadblock. Nothing doing so. It's the Gamecocks the other way. Littleton, if she can get control, has an open look. Off the back iron. Washington on the drive. Unable to finish at the rim. Gamecocks will slow it down here in the half court. They are in the bonus. 5 team fouls on Clemson. Cook against Lewis. Gets by her. And she'll draw the foul, and that will be number 5 on Sane. So the Tigers will lose their center here in the third quarter.
Again, great strategy. Again, just high basketball IQ by Cook. Going to attack your big when you know that she has 4 fouls to, again, attack her, put her in a position to foul, and then get her and then drop the basket and try to finish. Again, that just goes to her, ability to just IQ, court awareness, and being able to wind the clock down.
Sane will exit with 8 points and 2 rebounds on the night. Also blocked 2 shots. And so Cook to the line. Leads the Gamecocks in scoring tonight with 12. She's 2 for 4 from the charity stripe. And this is the first. Cook's a player that Coach Staley says continuing to learn and see the game at a place that it slows down for her. Puts her in a position where she can make great decisions, and that's what's happening out there on the floor.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You've seen really good decisions from Cook tonight. Again, just productivity from offensive side as well as defensive side. And again, it's particularly the last possession of her just, again, attacking Sane, knowing her foul trouble and being able to take care of business there.
Lewis tied up by Russell.
And you have to give Lewis some credit because she has been, again, relentless, driving to the basket and trying to get open shots. And again, Clemson have received open shots, but not necessarily been able to finish without losing the ball. So Lewis, again, has been relentless despite the success being able to drive to get the ball, again, inside the paint.
Five seconds for Cook. Takes it herself and unable to hit. So South Carolina will go to the fourth quarter leading by 22 here in Columbia. It's been all Gamecocks here in the second half. South Carolina had 27 points in the first half. They doubled that number in the third quarter. They lead 54-32, 4 for 7 from 3 in the third quarter, Brett, and Zia Cook, a big reason why.
Of course, explosive, athletic, quick, preseason All-American, All-SEC guard. This is what you expect from her. She had a quiet first half, but coming out 13 points on 2 for 3 from the field goal. Again, that's what you expect from an athletic guard. Again, she's able to be solid on the defensive end as well as be productive on the offensive end. I mean, kind of like you mentioned before, with Coach making her, helping her make decisions. She's so athletic and so quick. Sometimes she moves and the ball didn't necessarily go with her, but she's done a great job this game being able to control the ball and again make good decisions and just use her IQ to be able to help her team to the win.
Part of an outstanding guard rotation for the Gamecocks. And they have a lot of players that play the 2 and the 3, so if you're not being productive, you go lower on the depth chart. It's pretty competitive out there, and that's what Coach Staley told the team at the beginning of the year to make this year special. Just do what you do best. Whether it's get downhill and drive, hit the 3. That's going to be the 4th foul on Cook.
And again, and that was that play. She just have her eyes. She didn't see the screen coming, and this was one of those, plays that you just got to play through. Just communication from your teammates as well, letting you know when the team is coming. But again, she's just an aggressive defensive player.
I was just about to say Hank has to be careful setting those screens because she has 4 fouls, and now the foul will be called. check that turnover. Russell will draw the foul on the other end.
It's good to see Russell attacking the basket. She did a little bit of that in the first half, but again, this is a result when you attack the basket is you need to get to the free throw line, or are you able to finish?
Fouls on Kiana Gaines, her first, freshman guard from Columbus, Georgia. Russell saw 13 minutes against South Dakota on November 13th. Played in 26 games last year, averaging 6.5 minutes per game. Here's Gaines. Runs into Boston, and that's a problem. Here come the Gamecocks the other way. Bree Hall. Open look for Henderson. Too strong. Offensive rebound from Hall. Some great opportunities for the Gamecocks.
Right, definitely second looks that they had opportunities to score there.
A terrific finish from Washington.
Yeah, and that's what she does best. She have had looks all game with that shot, but just not able to finish. But it's good to see her being able to finish now.
Russell had an open look. Instead, it's Henderson from the corner.
I think the crowd was already expecting that. Some of them were already on their feet. But again, that's a great shot for her. That's one of her strengths, are being able to shoot the three-pointer.
Hank for three. In and out. Boston with the rebound. And here comes Anderson. Ami here against Hank. Strong move and the finish.
That's great feed by, again, Henderson, first of all, getting the ball to her. And she's like, hey, now that you have the ball, you go to work. You do what you do best. And she was able to finish.
The lead is 26 for the Gamecocks. It's getting loud here in Colonial Life Arena. Bradford for three. Too strong. Over the backboard and out of play. Gabby Elliott back in for the Tigers. Ano Inyang as well. Inyang has 4 fouls. Kiara Lewis back in, so wholesale changes right now for Clemson. 7:40 to go. Destiny Henderson, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists for the Gamecocks. Russell will kick it to Hall. Henderson off the glass.
Nice bank shot again. Wide open, perfect execution by the offense.
14 for Henderson. That one will go against Inyang, and that'll be her 5th. So both Sane and Inyang have fouled out for Clemson as we take another look.
Wow, yeah, that was just a harsh screen. And again, Inyang has had some pretty productive minutes. Again, her being just a freshman, you can see she, again, is getting a taste of what this looks like, what this type of play looks like. So,
South Carolina leads 62-34. You're watching women's college basketball on the SEC Network.
Of all the things that made Scrooge pout, he most disliked running and striding about. Until he discovered the Peloton tread. Sprinting and lifting sweat dripped from his head.
Good things happen to those who hustle.
His legs sang out like a Christmas choir. The Miss Grunkle's hashtag on fire. Yeah. Now Scrooge ran the holidays, no doubt. When your workout's a joy, it's a joy to work out.
Now, your caramel frappe in the morning can earn you a free McChicken in the afternoon. Because every order earns points with new My McDonald's Rewards. Download the app today to start earning free McDonald's.
7:02 to go here in the fourth quarter from Columbia. South Carolina leads Clemson 62-34 in their home opener. A game against their in-state rival, the Clemson Tigers. A series that has been pretty even throughout history, but has been dominated lately by South Carolina. It's being dominated tonight by the Gamecocks as they lead by 28. South Carolina has really picked up their shooting here in the second half. 45% from the field, 50% from three overall, 8 of 16 from behind the arc for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, again, having definitely much more productive around from behind the arc in the second half.
They've also had a lot more free throw opportunities than Clemson. 25 free throws attempted for the Gamecocks, just 11 for the Tigers. 2 Tigers have already fouled out. Sane and Inyang. So not much depth left at the center position. And so Boston will take advantage and finish in close.
Again, beautiful pass and just great job of her knowing where Boston is and Boston knowing where she is and relative to the basket and being able to finish.
Washington in trouble here. First 10-point game of the season for Boston. We expect many more of those.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Many more double digits, and double digits as well as double doubles from Leo Boston.
The lead is 30 for the Gamecocks. 3 off the mark from Bree Hall. Washington the other way. Blocked by Russell. Scramble for the ball and a foul is called. We'll go against the Gamecocks. A terrific defensive play from Anaya Russell. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's actually good to see Russell in the point guard position again, and now coming back into play, get a defensive stop. That's something that we talked about before with the point guard play. Who's going to be in rotation for that? But it looks like Russell is getting some minutes there in that position.
4th foul for Aaliyah Boston. She checks out to a nice hand here inside Colonial Life Arena. Amari Robinson to the line, 5 for 9 coming into tonight, hits the first. Junior forward from Douglasville, Georgia. Comes from a basketball family. Her dad, Keith, played for Digger Phelps at Notre Dame, and her mom, Andrea, was a 2-time All-American at Providence. Her jersey is retired there. 1,000 career points and 1,000 career rebounds for her. Great basketball bloodlines for Amari Robinson. Gamecocks will drain the clock a bit. Ami here. She's a great matchup against the much smaller Bradford. There's a look to Ami here. Tied up. Good defensive play from the Tigers.
And you can see the Tigers came out in a little bit of 2-3 zone here in that possession.
So the Gamecocks forgot about the shot clock. So possession to the Tigers. Lewis. And a foul called And that's going to be on Bree Hall, her third.
You know, it's good to see Hall as a freshman coming in and having some productive minutes. You know, she had some foul trouble earlier in the first half, but it was from driving to the basket, and you can see she's getting some open shots as well on offense in transition. But again, foul trouble has called both teams to go into the depths of their bench and having to pull out some freshmen and depend on them. And they both teams have held their weight for the most part for their team.
Lewis will head to the line. 7 points on the night. She's 3 for 6 from the free throw line. Make that 3 for 7. Now, this is the loudest the crowd has been. She hits the second. If she missed both free throws, the fans in attendance would have won Chick-fil-A. That's why I heard them
That's an incentive there.
up on their feet and loud. She did make the second. So another reason for the Gamecock fans to be upset with Kiara Lewis. Lewis will be called for the foul. A little too close to Destiny Henderson. That's a third foul on Lewis. Fourth team foul on Clemson here in the fourth. No one wants to shoot for the Gamecocks. It'll be Hall, in and out. Offensive rebound from Saxton. Amihir. Here's Hall.
Again, great to see Hall crashing the boards and again getting, in that case, giving Gamecocks just a second or third chance.
They've had 15 offensive rebounds in this one. Another open look for Hall. Too strong. Elliott with the rebound. She'll push it the other way for the Tigers. Puts up a three and hits.
Great shot for Elliott. Again, she's been so productive for the Tigers this game. Again, even though being in foul trouble, she's been able to get it to the paint as well as hit the outside shot.
Henderson responds on the other end. Elliott is 3 for 3 from behind the arc. Now 11 points for Clemson. Sets up Elmore. Way short. Couple of substitutions for the Tigers. Checking in. Number 25, Sydney Standifer, freshman guard from Texas. Kiana Gaines back in. Olivia Thompson, junior guard from Lexington, South Carolina, is in for South Carolina. Here's Russell off the glass. That's good.
Again, that's just a great shot, attacking the basket and getting the finish.
Elliott puts the moves on Littleton. Elmore. Strong inside move from Elmore, freshman forward from Ohio. It's her first points of the season. Russell.
Again, nice shot for Russell. She's been really in the latter half of this game, been able to again step up and play that point guard position and been able to drive to the basket as well as finish with the pull-up.
Timeout here with 2:33 to go. South Carolina with a commanding 70-42 lead. And we will take one last break. The Gamecocks with a big lead here over gains for Clemson. Elmore and Standifer. Both teams now going deep into their bench here with 2:10 remaining in the fourth. Maybe a little contact on Littleton, no call. Russell, good feed inside. And the finish for Sanaya Fagan, freshman from Ellenwood, Georgia.
Great pass by Russell. Again, Fagan would not be able to finish that or even get the ball if Russell did not be able to locate her or be aware of where she was on the court. It's a great pass by Russell.
Russell's done a nice job tonight, and maybe Dawn Staley has found her backup point guard for Destiny Henderson with Raven Johnson out for the season. It might be Russell. The corner three from Hannah Hank. Another feed inside to Fagan. She's 2 for 2 from the field.
Fagan looks like she's been doing her homework on the bench and practice, watching the other post players being able to get position and finish. That's a great shot for her.
Fagan, another player with a basketball bloodline. Her mom played at Washington. Her dad played at Morgan State. And that'll be the 5th foul on Hannah Hank. So she's the 3rd Clemson Tiger to foul out tonight, joining teammates Aino Inyang and Tree Singh. So those 3 bigs all fouled out. And they were in foul trouble early, Brett.
Oh, yeah. They were definitely foul trouble early. And a lot of these fouls were away from the basket, again, from screens or, again, getting position in the post.
Again, it's Fagan.
What a beautiful play. Again, the guards know if you get the ball in the post, again, you increase your chance to be able to score, and Fagan has taken full advantage of that.
Number 4 overall player in the class of 2021. Could be starting for a lot of teams across the country. This team has so much depth. Just finding late minutes here tonight against Clemson. And the Gamecocks will dribble out the clock. And they'll pick up their 3rd win of the season, 76-45 in convincing fashion over Clemson. A 31-point victory. That's their 11th straight win against the Tigers. Series tied all time now, 33-33. So, Brett, terrific game for the Gamecocks. Valiant effort for the Tigers. Your final thoughts?
Again, great second half from both teams. As you can see, early foul trouble for both teams. Both teams had to go into the depths of their bench to be able to compete and stay in the game. And like Coach Butler said, that she wanted to compete, and they did very well did that. And again, great job by both sides of the bench getting involved in the game.
South Carolina improves to 3-0.